Thank you, Madam Speaker. I acknowledge the honourable member for this question, and I'm thankful, Madam Speaker, that the students are here when this question is raised. And through you, Madam Speaker, I wish to encourage the students of Wunimono High School and also tell them that there are opportunities in the agriculture ministry, particularly for science-based students, Madam Speaker. Fiji is in great need of veterinary officers, pathologists, entomologists, plant breeders, animal breeders, nutritionists, food technologists and engineers, even scientists, Madam Speaker. So huge opportunities for those that are taking science in school. And I hope that it's not merely science for the sake of taking science, but these are careers, opportunities that they can aim and aspire for in the future. Because of the potentials in the industries, and again, this Honourable House has been informed on numerous occasions that agriculture, to be successful, has to be aggressively driven by research and, of course, marketing as well, Madam Speaker. And research is an area that is very, very critical, not only for the current demands, but most importantly, preparing for the future of the industries as well. Research, Madam Speaker, is time-consuming and, of course, demands a lot of investment as well. But, Madam Speaker, let me assure the House that Fiji is not working in isolation. We have partners. I'll name a few: the ACIAR, the Australian Council for International Agriculture Research. In fact, they were in the country in the last few days, Madam Speaker. I met them on Monday evening, and there are few projects with Fiji and, of course, other Pacific Island countries as well, Madam Speaker. We have APARI. APARI is the Asia Pacific Agriculture Research Institute as well, based in Bangkok. We have NARI, the National Agriculture Research Institute in Papua New Guinea. And as we speak, Madam Speaker, three of our officials are currently, in fact, they probably just arrived yesterday in Papua New Guinea at Lae for further training and, of course, exchanges with fellow researchers in Papua New Guinea as well, Madam Speaker. And, of course, together with the other donor agencies, we are working together because, as I've stated, research is time-consuming and, of course, requires investment as well. Madam Speaker, the question this morning is broad because it asks about how many new varieties that has been released by the Ministry Research Division and how it benefits the farmers. Madam Speaker, I can go all the way back to 1979. In which we released the first tomato variety that was named Alton, and then a bean variety, Sobi, in 1984. And the list goes on, Madam Speaker. 1985, there were a few tomato varieties, another tomato variety again called Alufu Large, and Taro, we brought in the Samoa hybrid, and of course the Malekandina followed in 1995, and an eggplant variety called Pritam in 1998, 99, another Taro variety, Wararasa. Pigeon Pea, Wasibi was in 2002, and 2004 we had a chili called Bird's Eye, and 2006 cowpea, capsicum, and cucumber. 2007 we had soybean variety called Kalu Kalu. In 2010, we had released three banana hybrid varieties, FH1A, which was named Mason, after Mason Smith, who was then Permanent Secretary, and FH1A 17, named after Millie. Millie was head of research. Thank you, Honourable Member. And of course, FH118 named after Timothy. 2014, Madam Speaker, I launched the Mung Bean in Bulileka in Lamasa. It was named Samrat. And of course, 2015, one of the tomato varieties, we named it Melrose. 2016 was the Rio Gold, another tomato variety. And of course, very lately, last year, Madam Speaker, I also launched a guava variety called or named the Green Pearl that has been released to the market. Madam Speaker, basically research, two main components. We have adaptive research and applied research or participatory research as well. After years of close scrutiny, observation, experiments in the laboratories and of course in the fields as well, involving hardening process, then it's given out to the farmers for commercial production. And these varieties that I have mentioned, Madam Speaker, these are the varieties that you see in our markets today. And of course, the latest is the Green Pearl Guava, which is a research exercise in collaboration with the Taiwan Technical Mission of the Republic of China that is based in the Dodo level. I've just answered this morning about tropical fruits, and this is one of the latest developments, the release of this Green Pearl variety. And Madam Speaker, it's quite attractive in the market for those that wish to go into commercial guava production. It's about $7 a kg for this guava variety. I think better than chili. So this is already commercially given, Madam Speaker, and the seeds are available. Planting materials are available from our research stations as well. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you, Honorable Bimban Prasad.
Quick question to the Minister, Madam Speaker. Would the Minister inform the House, because when you talk about research, you actually talk about research, you talk about extension, and you talk about training. Can you inform the House how the actual research on some of those new variety crops is linked to extension services and training? Because if you don't have extension and training services, you could do very good research, but it won't be translated into the field. Thank you.
Minister.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I thank the Honourable Leader of the NFP for the question. Indeed, it's very, very critical that there is very close linkage and coordination between the researchers and, of course, the training and, of course, the transfer of this technology as well to our farms. Madam Speaker, the research and the extension divisions, they conduct monthly meetings, and this is when they get updates. And this is when the extension officers also tell our research people what are the needs, particularly for the extension officers in terms of upscaling them so that they can transfer the technology to the farmers. Not only that, Madam Speaker, but it's also important that they know the progresses in the researches that currently being undertaken, and of course the timelines that are involved as well. So that is very, very critical, Madam Speaker. And as we speak, we have a team that is currently looking at the structure of the Ministry for Agriculture. And one of the intentions behind this new structure, consistent with the civil service reform, Madam Speaker, is to also decentralize some of the services provided. And of course, we will see agricultural researchers not only based in the research stations in Lenga-Lenga, in Mua, in Nadodo Lebu, in Noedomba, but Madam Speaker, they also now, in the new structure, if it's adopted by government, we'll see agriculture research officers also based in the, with the extension offices in the respective geographical regions as well. We have tried that, Madam Speaker, in Morning Table, where we have taken a research officer away from Cornevia and placed her She was a female in Monindabo, and we saw a significant result when technology and knowledge and skills is transferred to the farmers immediately from the researchers as well. So that is the intention to do. Answer these, Madam Speaker.